Let's discuss how we got here, what should be different, and how it should be discussed, okay? Bill O'Reilly joins me now, and I'm going to hold him over the break so we can really cover a lot of these concerns that he shares as well. Thank you for joining me, big man. I appreciate it. So what is your take?
I was there 8 days ago, driving right through the area. I was driving through Calabasas and Pacific Palisades, and it was tranquil, and everybody was happy, and it's just stunning. In the space of a week, that your whole life, if you lived out there, can disappear. It's biblical, almost, and it's a message. So I'm going to address the general picture, if you don't mind, Cuomo, tonight, because I think investigations have to be done about water pumping and all that. And but the general picture is this. Progressive governance does not work. And California is a mismanaged state from almost top to bottom. And the fault lies with the voters who elect people like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom. But Newsom, not so much, because Newsom genuinely, I think, wants to do a good job, but he's trapped by his progressive ideology and his support system. Now, let me back that up. In New York, where I am right now, we have progressive leadership, and they passed a bail reform law that put hardened criminals back on the streets, and it has killed thousands of people. Thousands of people are dead because of the bail reform law. When you put violent people back on the street and don't punish them for criminal activity, you're going to have more crime. Everybody knows that. Yet the voters of New York put these people in office. And the same thing in California. So everybody in California knows that the ecosystem there is dangerous and fragile. Everybody knows there are going to be fires. There are going to be mudslides. Pacific Coast Highway is closed now, south of Big Sur. Everybody knows that the ocean is ferocious, and this is a state that is going to be besieged all the time. Nothing has been done by the progressive leadership to prevent any of it. In 2014, Sacramento passed a law that provided money, bonds, to build 7 water plants, water storage plants across the state. But there was a rider attached to it.
Hold on 1 second, Bill. Bill, I want to hear about the rider. Hold on. Dusty, monitor Mayor Bass. Let me know if she's saying anything that changes our understanding, or if she says anything that doesn't make any sense about our understanding. And I'll dip in there and you'll tell me what it was. But Bill, continue until then.
Okay. So there's a rider attached to that 7 water storage plants that says they can only be built if they benefit the, quote, ecosystem. So they weren't built because the environmentalists challenged every single thing, every construction site, everything. And Newsom allowed it, didn't challenge it, didn't publicize it. The mayor of Los Angeles, as you accurately reported, cut $17 million from the firefighter budget, even though her own hand-picked fire chief said, don't do that. It's too risky. The mayor did it anyway and had plenty of money to not cut, because $1.3 billion a year Los Angeles gives to the homeless to enable people to remain drug addicted and live in the street. Why would they kick it? Why would they try to get work or a home if the state's going to support their lifestyle of getting high? $1.3 billion a year, and they're cutting firefighters? This is the kind of governance you want? Progressive leadership leads to destruction and death. That is the truth. And that is what we are seeing played out here right now.
Bill, will you do me a favor? Let me get in a quick break. Can we come back and continue the conversation? I want to talk to you also I want to come back at you on some of that, but also I want to talk to you about the insurance issue and how you've seen it move over time. We good on that?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Welcome to News Nation. I'm Chris Cuomo. We're continuing coverage of what's happening in California. I'm with Bill O'Reilly. We've been discussing, of course, we all got to be together on helping the people on the ground get through right now. But we have these questions of why are they dealing with this? Could it have been avoided? What has to change? Bill is making the point that he believes the politicians involved, specifically progressive ones, have created policies that preference the wrong people and have created vulnerabilities that are now destroying communities. With Karen Bass, the mayor, I smell what you're cooking there, Bill. She was out of position when this happened. Yeah, it's not fair. She went to Africa. How could she know there was going to be fires? The National Weather Service had warned of extreme conditions before she left. She made a call. It was the wrong call. She came back. She does not sound assertive and in control the way people expect in these situations. She did cut the budget. There's a discrepancy about, 2% cut. Where did it really go? What difference would it make? Let's put her to the side. Newsom, I think, is more of the examination than you're giving him. There's been a consistency of policies that favor, whether it's power line companies or infrastructure, over the removal of fuel for these communities. That's something he's going to have to speak to. But those infrastructure projects you bring up, here's my problem with that part of the blame game. It's bad that they didn't do the infrastructure projects when they were approved by the people 10 years ago. I'm with you. I don't think any of them had anything to do with the LA water system or the forest management that would have made a difference in these fires. So why blame that now?
Because with high tech, you can irrigate places that are very dry and provide a layer of protection for the people who live there. Irrigation has made California the world's most productive grower of food. You can irrigate dry places if you have the stored water. And you can do desalinization, taking salt out of the ocean water and using it to protect citizens of California. None of this is done because Newsom and everybody else in the legislature in Sacramento are too busy virtue signaling about global warming, about smelts, about snail darters, about eco this and eco that. It's insane. And this is what progressive leadership brings, that they're not problem solvers. Look, I know a lot of people who live in Malibu, Pacific Palisades, all of that. They can clear brush on their private property. They can do that. They take 2 steps off their private property, say they have a forest adjacent to it, they can't touch it. They can't clear it. That's what Trump was yelling about years ago when he said you have to manage your forests there in California, and you don't. There's no forest management, so if there is a lightning strike or a fire, it's going to be a tinderbox. That's true. And Newsom doesn't do anything about it. That's the definition of a bad leader. Now, insurance, very important, very important. All the major insurance companies are raising prices everywhere in the United States on cars and homes to pay off the catastrophes in Florida, North Carolina, California, on and on. Everybody's getting hosed, okay? But in California, they have a very robust insurance commission. It's headed by a guy named Ricardo Lara. He is the commissioner. He has done nothing, Cuomo, nothing, all right, to negotiate with State Farm, Allstate, all the big agencies, and say, we'll give you a tax break if you stay here instead of pulling out, which they are, and help the folks. That has not happened. And the reason is that all the big corporations are bad for the progressives. The insurance companies are horrible. Negotiate with them. You can do that. The California Insurance Commission is powerful. And Newsom knows that. Why aren't you negotiating to bring insurance premiums, affordable ones, to your 50 million residents. Because
I agree
again,
with
they don't care about it.
I don't know that they don't care.
They don't care.
I think
they don't care. If they did, they'd solve the problem.
I take your opinion, but here's why I don't take your assessment of the motivation. If it were that simple, that the progressives don't care and the conservatives do, then DeSantis wouldn't be facing the same problem in Florida. Well, but I'm saying,
look, I didn't say
I don't think it's a progressive problem. But I'm just saying I don't think it's a progressive problem. I think it's an insurance leverage problem because Florida is getting crushed by the industry unfairly as well.
Of course, but it's all about leadership and negotiating. But if you look at the states that are run by progressives, California is a one-party state. It only has one party, a liberal Democratic Party. What problems do they solve? None. All right? San Francisco, LA, fires everywhere, crime everywhere. They don't do anything but virtue signal. And I'm not saying that Florida is a magic kingdom. All right?
I'm saying they have the same problem with insurance.
There are ways. Yeah,
but I'm saying
that there's not even
left
a negotiation
or right, the insurers are winning. But I'm saying that I think that, look, I'll take your point about the politics. It doesn't really matter to me, and here's why, Bill. I think that there's a problem with the corporate allowances when it comes to the insurers right now that has to be addressed. Probably, I know states have the control over insurance, but there's got to be some kind of federal avenue here. Because, look, you know, you and I both have friends in Florida. We both travel there on a regular basis. They're getting priced out because of their insurance for their mortgages.
They're getting killed.
And they're getting killed on their condo fees and all these things because the insurers. I'm not blaming DeSantis. I'm saying he hasn't been able to do anything about it either. I think these companies are way out of control.
I agree, and it's up to DeSantis to negotiate deals that help the citizens of Florida, just like it's up to Newsom to do the same. Federal government cannot control the insurance industry. It can't.
True.
All right, there's 50 states. Each state are different. It's the governors. Okay, but what I'm submitting to you tonight, Cuomo, is in California, I haven't researched Florida. In California, they don't even try. All they do is virtue signal. When you have a police chief in the second largest city in the country telling the mayor, look, you cannot cut the budget $12 million. We need more firefighters. We need more equipment. And the mayor goes, blank you, I'm cutting it. You got a problem, okay? That's just the truth.
I hear you. Bill, I appreciate your assessment of it. The insurance thing, we're going to be able to talk about it more because we're going to see it play out here. Well, I see it in every story now. Every time there's a problem, the insurance companies are like no longer in the business of losing money. It's like they only want to insure places where they're not going to have to pay anybody. All right, thank you very much for coming on.
One more point.
Yes, sir. Please.
All right, one more point before Dusty decapitates us. The states can fine insurance companies a lot of money, okay? So they have power, the states. But again, it's like, well, it's too complicated. I really don't want to get involved with that. No. All right, thanks for having me on. Happy New Year, and let's hope next week is better.
Oh, God willing, God willing. Bill O'Reilly, thank you. 4 minutes.